from Ohio's Channel 4 News. Serving Ohio for more than a decade, this is Capitol Square from ONN.
Welcome back to Capitol Square with John Kasich, and joined now by State Auditor Mary Taylor. Mary, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Here we are in the bus. You've been out campaigning now for 3 days. What is this experience like?
You know, it's been great. We've seen, you know, every aspect of Ohio from my perspective. We've seen agriculture in the feed supply store we were in. We went to a career center where we saw students in high school and adult students being retrained for high-tech welding. So it's been a great experience. We've had some rallies, just really listening to Ohioans. And I like to say this campaign's about three things: jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Are you, I mean, you're the running mate. So I imagine when you see these attacks that are already going from an incumbent governor, is that unsettling, or is that something that you're used to, or what are your thoughts about how negative it turned so quickly?
Well, you know, your first instinct is to defend and protect the person that you know is right in this case, and I think John says it best. We knew this was coming, and we've been expecting it. It started a little earlier than we thought, but it's really just a tactic to distract voters from the real issues of this campaign. I experienced it a little bit myself in my own campaigns, and started to experience it late last year. Distractions don't work for Ohio voters. Ohio voters know the issues that matter to them.
Is it a little bit different? I mean, when you're running your own campaign statewide, sort of you're in the driver's seat and it's your message. Is it different this time? Kind of coordinating, making sure that you're staying on target message? That's
a great question. Actually, we've had John and I have had some great conversation about John's vision and mission for Ohio. We have very similar beliefs about what needs to be done in Ohio to restore prosperity. So I don't feel like it's hard to stay on message, because we believe in the same things. We need to reduce taxes in Ohio. We need to reduce the burden of government, make government smaller, make it more efficient, modernize it, bring it to the 21st century. We need to eliminate the red tape and bureaucracy and regulation that prevents our small businesses from being successful and creating jobs. We're very much on the same page.
Congressman, will it be easier as we get into late summer and fall, as Ohioans really begin to pay attention to this campaign, to have the state auditor, somebody who's been dealing with the numbers of the state, to try to home in and fine-tune that message of it's not about Lehman Brothers or Wall Street, it's about the economy of the state?
Well, look, Mary spent 16 years as a CPA in private business. She has the business experience. Her husband runs a small business. She's also been successful in government, and she stood up against people, even in the Republican Party, who wanted to raise taxes. So we're having a great time. I mean, she's a great partner. It's not about, you know, rehearsing scripts. These things all come right from the gut for her and for myself. So is she going to be a valuable asset? What, are you kidding? She's a great asset, and she's going to have a great role, not just in the campaign, but when this election's over and time comes to run the government.
This bus will continue to roll, I'm guessing, through the summer and into the fall?
Yeah, oh yeah, we're going to be doing these things again. You know, we don't run the campaign; we have people to do it, but we expect we'll be on this bus. You know, I just finished an 88 county speaking tour. I've been in every county, some counties multiple times, and so we put on, let's see, I think 12,000 miles in 9 weeks in a car, and that's a lot of driving. And it's not like around 270, you know, it's like going out to the 88 counties. So we'll be doing a lot of traveling. We'll be very visible.
Let me ask you about very quickly before we end the show today. Mary, Yvette McGee-Brown, your opponent, the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor, told me last week on last week's Capitol Square that she will debate anytime, any place, and she's ready to go. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what, we haven't really talked about debates, but I think that John and I have the right message for Ohio. We're concerned about Ohioans. Far too many Ohioans are hurting. We know that we need to tear down the barriers for our small businesses to be successful and create jobs, and I'll be happy to have that discussion anytime that it is offered to me.
Congressman, I'll ask you the same question, but let me couch it slightly differently. The eyes of the nation are on this contest. I mean, this is really going to be a determining factor of where the country is, what mood it's in. I mean, obviously the White House is watching Ohio very carefully if the Republican takes over the governor's office. I mean, the eyes of the nation are in. Is there a certain responsibility that you feel above and beyond being the Ohio gubernatorial candidate, that this might be a national campaign in a way?
You know, actually, the only thing I think about is winning the election and improving the economy here. Everything else takes care of itself. I'm not very concerned about anything beyond that. You know, people bring up different issues, and The only issues that matter are what's going to get people to work. The only issues that matter is what happens in Wilmington. Yeah, I'm very well aware that the whole country is going to be watching that. You know, that's just part of it, but that's not the focus. You know, the main thing is to keep focused on the main thing, and that's improving the lives of Ohio families, and that's what we're going to do all the way across the finish line, and we'll get started the day after election. Oh, we might take the day after election off, but it'll be 2 days after, we'll get rolling on it again. And that's when it'll be important that the rest of the country watches Ohio, because I think we can have an agenda here that can move this place, that can represent real leadership to people in other parts of this country about how to remember to restore the American dream.
Speaking on behalf of all State House reporters, we're anxious for those debates. You anxious for those debates?
Oh, look, this is all a discussion with people. There'll be some, whenever the political parties, determine all this. But, I'm really far more interested in being out there in the neighborhoods. I can't wait to get up to Parma and to be in the ethnic neighborhoods. You know, down in Columbus, they think of Croatian as something that crawls out of the river. So when I'm going to be up in Cleveland, it's going to be great, and over in Youngstown and Steubenville. So that's what I'm most interested in. You know, frankly, I'm not anxious about anything. I'm very calm about what we need to do, and we're going to execute. We'll run our campaign. The media won't run our campaign. They won't run our campaign. We'll run our campaign. And I'll make you a bet, we're going to win.